well, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you are all able to join me and to find this video. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes here as everyone gets settled and gets situated to do some Sunday morning yoga. First of all, thank you guys so much for joining me. I have missed you so much over the last few weeks, and it sounds like we have quite a while of no yoga together still left to go, so hopefully we can continue to practice together online. Feel free to send your comments and your questions. You can send them to me on Facebook, you can email me, you can text me, you can call me, but I have to be honest, I don't usually answer my phone, so you might have to leave a message. But you can reach out to me in any way if you have questions, concerns, comments, if you just need some yoga to do with anything. You can make special requests. I'm planning to have another live class on Tuesday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. and then hopefully have that class up on the website if you are still going to work by that after work time, so you could do some yoga sometime on Tuesday afternoon with me as well. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I'm really excited about doing this. Apologize for the quality of the video. As things progress and maybe my work life gets a little more stable, I might be able to get some better equipment, and I'm in talks with maybe borrowing some equipment, so hopefully the videos will just get better and better. You may find, I noticed in my tests that, my bangs are going to go off to one side, my toe might go off to the other side, but just ignore that and focus on what you are doing, and I don't think you need to see my toes anyway. They are quite unattractively polished.
Christine.
Yeah.
Someone said, I see no notification about your live broadcast. I told them to refresh the page.
Perfect.
So if you tell people that.
Great. So if you are not seeing a notification of the live broadcast, go ahead and refresh your page. I have Jake over here monitoring my messages for me while I'm filming, because I can't be on both sides of the phone at the same time. So he's on the computer doing one thing and I'm over here doing the other thing. So I'll talk for a couple more minutes. If any of the other people were having issues getting that live broadcast notification, it usually shows up on the left-hand bottom side of your screen. It pops up and then you just click on that. It should bring you into the live screen. So again, welcome and thank you if you're just joining us. You don't need any props for our class today. If you have a yoga mat at home, that's great, but you can practice on your rug or your floor. If you're worried about slipping, you might put down a towel. If you happen to have yoga blocks, I'll be using mine a little bit. You don't need them. You can use anything else that is yoga block shaped. Water bottles filled up work really well for balance poses, or a little stack of books works well. They're just not quite as mobile. They might fall apart on you, but it's all in the fun of practicing there. I thought we would just do some pretty simple stuff, nothing too fancy. We'll get a little stretched out in our hips and our shoulders, just get a little bit of heat for the morning to go forward and enjoy maybe some outside time later. Gonna start nice and slow, so if you're just getting into it, don't worry, come at your own pace. This will be about an hour, so we'll be finishing up right around 10 o'clock, so you have the rest of your day ahead of you. Go ahead and come to a stable and comfortable seated position. We're going to circle the body, so if you do want to sit on a prop, just making sure that you have the ability to move a little bit side to side. When you come to that nice and stable seat, take a few moments, allow your shoulder blades to relax. Soften your gaze or even close your eyes. And as you're ready, your own time, take a deep breath in. And a big sigh out. And then from there, begin to circle the body towards the front of the mat as you inhale. And then towards the back of the mat as you exhale. It doesn't matter what direction you go. It doesn't matter the size of the circles. You're just working to match those circles with your breath. I encourage you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes here. And just start to feel into your body. So the sides feel like as you move a little here. Do you like to move your head a little bit, bending into the neck? You can get your shoulders in on this if you want. then the most natural, easy part of the circle for you, sometime the next couple of breaths, you'll just switch directions and circle the other way. Again, you're circling with the breath, so the inhale brings you towards the front of the mat. The exhale brings you towards the back, and it's just about feeling what the body feels like as you circle this morning, feeling the movement on your sits bones, in your shoulders. A couple more circles here. And then you can begin to slow the circles down, decreasing the size of the circle. And then sometime in the next 4 or 5 breaths, those circles become so slow, so small, that you reach a point of stillness. Whenever you reach that point of stillness, there is absolutely no hurry here today. You'll take a deep breath in, a deep breath out, and bring your hands in front of your heart. Soften your shoulders, your jaw, and your belly. And just take the next few moments to listen for the sound of your own breath. As you're ready, blink your eyes open, roll your shoulders back, and make your way towards your table pose. If you need a cushion underneath your knees, you take a moment to grab a blanket, and you just want to place your hands under your shoulders, spreading your fingers nice and wide. Place your knees underneath your hips. Draw your shoulders back away from your ears here. Lift your belly slightly, and we're going to do some more circles here. So as you're ready, on an inhale, you can start to circle your hips towards the back of the mat. And then on your inhale, you circle the hips forward. And you just roll a few times in one direction. Again, that range of motion is just what feels a little stretchy in the sides of the hips now. And keep your belly lightly lifted. A little bit of engagement in your core. Maybe another circle in this direction, and then again at the most natural point in the circle you switch and you go the other way. A couple more circles in this direction. You can feel the weight distribution in your wrists. Feel your knees and your hips starting to warm up. And when you're ready, you stop and you come back to neutral. Hands under the shoulders. Soften the center of your chest as you inhale. Relax your belly, shoulders come back, gaze and tail come up, your cow pose. And then as you exhale, lift your belly, tuck your tailbone down, your gaze down, find your cat pose. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. And as usual, work at your own pace. If one spot feels really good, why not stay there for a few breaths? Why not bend your elbows a little bit or move a little side to side? It's just about feeling where the body feels strong, where it feels good to move, where the body might need an extra little bit of love and attention. I'm kind of warmed up a little bit here now. Our hips, our knees, our shoulders, and our wrists. And we'll start to work just a little bit more dynamically. So as you inhale, you might decide to reach your right leg out behind you, rolling the shoulders back. As you exhale, you might bring your right knee in towards your nose. Inhale to reach behind. Exhale, knee to nose. If you feel quite frisky, you could always add the addition of that left arm reaching out. And then exhaling, knee to nose. And we're just going to do 3 more. Inhaling to reach, lift. And then exhaling, drawing the belly up and in as you draw the knee towards the center line. Reach everything out as you inhale. And then as you exhale, hand down if you lifted it, knee down. Take 1 regular cow and cat before we go over to the other side, inhaling and exhaling. And then as you inhale, maybe you'll reach the left leg out behind you. Keep your belly a little engaged as you do that. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale to reach behind. Exhale, knee to nose. Maybe you add the addition of the right arm, inhaling and exhaling. And you can draw the knee either towards the midline or just back towards the hip. Can keep you a little bit more stable here. Just 2 more. Just starting to warm up. As you inhale, reach the arm, reach the leg, hand down, knee down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. As you inhale back to neutral, you're going to reach your right arm up and out to the side, shrug your shoulder back, and then as you exhale, take your right arm, thread it underneath your left armpit. Here you can rest the side of your head all the way down to the floor, or you can always use a prop, blanket, block underneath the head to keep you a little bit more elevated here. Relax. Maybe you like to walk your left hand a little forward. Maybe you like to take your left hand behind your back. Gently opening up that shoulder. Another deep breath here. And then as you're ready, beginning to unthread. Place the right hand down. When you're ready, you're going to lift the left arm up and then thread underneath that left arm. Again, you can place any kind of prop underneath the head to lessen the weight of the body on the shoulder. You could be tenting your right fingertips for a little more stability. Or taking your right hand behind your back. A little bit deeper into the stretch. Just a few deep breaths here. As you're ready, you unthread. Place the right hand down. Lift yourself back to your table again. Find a cow. Inhaling. And a cat. Exhaling. Here, as you're ready, you're going to begin to walk your hands a little bit more towards the front of your mat. And then from there, you're going to slide your shoulders a little bit over your wrists. This is your inhale, the top of your plank. And then as you exhale, you're going to lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck your toes if they're tucked under. Flatten your belly. Inhale. Lift to a little bit of a baby cobra. Shrug your shoulders back. If you feel frisky, you can even try to float your hands here. Keep your gaze down towards the floor. So the back of your neck is nice and long. This is your inhale as you press the tops of your feet into the mat. And then as you exhale, lower the hands down, press back towards a child's pose. Feel free to widen your knees if you need to here, sliding the hips back. Press all 10 of your fingertips into the floor, maybe even lift the palms of your hands a little bit. And then inhale, come back into that low plank pose. You could simply lower to the floor, or if you feel a little bit frisky, you could add a few push-ups here, exhaling down and inhaling up. Maybe just 3 push-ups if they feel good. Feel free to just lower to the floor and pick up your cobra if you're not feeling push-ups today. But when you're ready, belly comes all the way down. Chest lifts, shoulders shrug back. You can go a little higher if that feels pleasant here this morning. And then exhale to release. Go ahead and press yourself back. You can have your hands a little bit forward as you tuck your toes under, press back through the arches of the feet. You might just rock a few times there. Or you might decide that you're ready to lift up to your downward facing dog, adjusting your feet. You could pedal them a little bit. You can sway a little side to side. Press firmly into all 10 of your fingertips. Lift your belly up a little bit. And just enjoy this first downward facing dog. course, if you prefer table, you can always take the knees to the floor. You can continue to circle the hips or take cow-cat, or even just take child's pose if you're feeling like something a little more relaxed this morning. Inhale wherever you are. And as you exhale, make your way back to your table pose, lowering your knees to the floor. Maybe you like to press into the backs of your hands for a moment. I like to do one at a time because my wrist's generally a little bit tender, but you can do both at the same time if you want, flipping the hand around, pressing into the back of the hand. And then from here, as you inhale, you're going to reach your right leg again behind you. As you exhale, hug your right knee in towards your nose. Both of your hands are on the floor this time. And you want to see if maybe you can bring your knee and your nose as close together as possible. Maybe they even give a little kiss. And then reach that right leg out behind you. Inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to step your right foot towards the front of the mat. And if it doesn't quite come between your hands, remember, you can always grab it and show it where to go. Wiggle yourself into position here for your low lunge. If you need to fold the mat over or grab a blanket for your back knee, take a moment. You can stay low in this lunge. You could use your blocks, framing your front foot. Shrug your shoulders back a little bit. Make a gentle lift to the center of your chest. If it feels good, you can start to lift up a little more, hands to thigh, hands to hips, or even arms all the way up to the sky. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. You can lean a little forward into that front thigh if it feels good. If you feel quite stable, a little look up. Relax your shoulders. And then squeeze your inner thighs together. So you're gently drawing your right hip just a little bit back, your left hip a little forward, so you feel the inner thigh muscles just firming up, starting to wake up a little bit. Take a few more breaths. Inhale, lift. And then as you exhale, fold forward. You're going to start to guide your hips a little back for your half splits, your Ardha Hanuman. You can begin to straighten your right leg a little bit. Blocks are very handy here, but fingertips to the floor also work. If you need a little more, you can wiggle your right foot forward and turn your right toes up. And again, it's the same action in the hips. Right hip back, left hip forward, squeezing the inner thighs a little bit together. But now you're targeting the back of the leg. Let your shoulders come back. You might even relax your chin towards your chest. Another deep breath here. And then here you're going to go back to your three-legged table. So you can start to rock a little bit forward. You can use your fingertips to the floor. You can also use hands to blocks for a little bit of extra space. So you can take the right foot behind you, reaching out. Inhale. And then as you exhale, bring that right knee to the floor. If you have the blocks, just move them out to the sides. Plant the hands down. Shrug the shoulders back. Inhale, take the left foot behind you. Exhale, knee to the nose. And we'll stay here for just a moment. You want to hug that knee up and in so you start to feel your abdominal muscles working. You have to really lift up. Maybe you can even kiss the knee to the nose. Feel free to lift up onto your fingertips here, or even use your blocks again, and then step the left foot forward for that low lunge. Fingertips can be on the floor. Hands could be on blocks. You could come hands to thigh. Hands to hips, arms up to the sky. Find the variation where you feel some openness at the front of your body. As you begin to feel that, relax your shoulders. A little bit of lift in your belly. Again, that gentle squeeze of the inner thighs, that little guide of the hips to square to the front of the mat so that you have lots of muscular integrity holding you in this lunge position. Another deep breath. Inhale here, even a little look up, and then exhale, you fold forward. You can grab blocks, you can just do fingertips to the floor, straightening that left leg. And it might not come all the way straight. You might not need to go that far again to feel that stretch. But maybe you need to go a little further. You wiggle the left foot forward, you flip the left toes up, and you find the place where you feel now some space at the back of your thigh on that left side. Relax your shoulders and your neck. Another deep breath here. And you're going exhaling to come a little bit forward again, back to your three-legged dog. So any kind of prop you need underneath your hands, your three-legged table, to get some space to take that left foot behind you as you inhale. And then exhale, left knee to the floor. Plant the hands down as you inhale, pick up your cow pose. As you exhale, pick up your cat pose. Inhale, reach the crown of the head forward, find that neutral spine, shoulders shrug back, tuck your toes under, press through the arches of the feet. You could stay here, you could lift again up to your downward facing dog. And again, take a few moments, pedal around. You can turn your toes to the left and your heels to the right. And then your toes to the right, heels to the left, finding a little stretch along the sides of the body. Another couple of breaths here. You're going to walk your feet slowly towards the front of the mat and come to dangle. You can stay dangling facing the front of the mat. I'm just going to turn to face towards you so you can see the blocks here and my head doesn't disappear. You can plant your hands to the blocks and do more of a lifted forward fold if that feels good this morning, if you're experiencing any congestion. Or you can keep the knees really soft and fold all the way forward and just dangle towards the floor if that feels better. And take a few deep breaths here. Maybe a little sway from side to side. And pressing into your heels with your knees nice and soft. Inhale to roll all the way up to the sky. You can keep your arms heavier if you like. You can sweep your arms out and up. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, your hands will end up by your sides. Inhale, bring your arms up over your head. And as you exhale, press the palms of the hands together, bring them in front of your heart. Inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, palms to heart. One more like that at your own pace. Once the hands return to the heart, take a deep breath, relax the shoulders. And then make sure that you're standing up at the front of your mat. If you like to use blocks, you might like to have them handy up there at the front of your mat. Set your feet that comfortable distance apart. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. And then as you inhale, lift your arms up. I'm lifting my arms forward only because I don't have a lot of sideways space. Feel free to go to the sides. Exhale, palms of the hands together or hands to the sides, fold all the way forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your hands underneath your shoulders. Step your right foot or your right knee to the back of the mat. Step your left foot or your left knee to the back of the mat. You're in downward dog or table pose. Take a few moments, move around a little bit. If you choose table, maybe a couple more circles. If you choose downward facing dog, maybe lifting the heels, lifting the belly, and then gently lowering the heels to the floor, softening the knees a little bit. Option to stay right where you are. You could stay in table or dog or child's pose. If you like, you can join me in your half vinyasa, inhaling forward to your plank, high plank or low plank, your choice. Exhale, lower yourself all the way down to the floor. You could pick up upward facing dog. You could pick up cobra. You're welcome to do sphinx with your elbows on the floor. As you exhale, release, tuck your toes under and come back, table or downward facing dog. On your inhale, you're going to lift your right foot to the sky. And on your exhale, you're going to step your right foot forward towards the front of the mat. Remember, if it doesn't get there, you can grab the ankle and show it where to go. Fingertips come to frame your front foot. You can also use your hands on your blocks here for extra support. Reach the crown of your head forward as you inhale. press your left heel back towards the back of the mat. Lift your left hip, that's your back hip, just a little bit as you come forward through the crown of the head. You can stay with your fingertips on the floor, your hands on your blocks, or you can come up hands to thigh, shrugging the shoulders back. Hands to hips, or if you feel quite frisky, maybe even arms behind you like airplane wings, just starting to heat up that front thigh. As you do this again, think of that gentle squeeze together of your inner thighs. So a little draw back of the right hip, a little tuck in of the right butt cheek, a little bit of lift in your belly. So there's lots of stuff happening, even as we just hold here for a breath. Take another breath. Press down into your right heel. Inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to bring your fingertips to the floor or your hands to blocks and begin to straighten your right leg a little bit. So as your kind of modified pyramid. At this point, we have our back heel lifted. But if you prefer, you can always rotate and set that back heel down. You can adjust the distance between your feet if you want. But the action is the same. A little scissor of the thighs. A little draw in of the lower belly as you reach the crown of the head forward. My leg likes to be really quite straight here. It feels quite nice, but you might find that a deeper bend in your knee is more appropriate for you. So experiment. It doesn't have to be just one thing. Continue finding that little lift at the pit of your belly. It's like you are an avocado and you have an avocado pit right in your center, right in your navel, and you're scooping that avocado pit out with a spoon. And as you do that, your belly kind of goes, oh, hello, that's a little chilly this morning. It's a little lift up and inwards. You have another deep breath here. Lifting the belly. Squeezing the inner thighs. And then you're going to soften your right knee here, bending it deeply. You're going to walk your hands to the inside of your front foot. And I'm hoping this works and you can still hear me as I turn around because I'm going to be upside down, so I'm still talking to the camera. You're going to walk to the long edge of your mat. Your left foot turns to the long edge of the mat. As you walk your fingertips to the middle of the mat, your right foot turns to the end of the mat. If your heels aren't in line with one another, take a moment, adjust. You can always adjust the angle of your feet, in or out. Or you can adjust the distance between your feet, and you can be hanging forward as I am. Fingertips on the floor, hands to blocks. Or you can be pressing into your fingertips and doing a little more of a lifted variation. See what feels comfortable and just spend a few breaths here. Maybe a little softness in your knees so that the weight is balanced between the balls of the feet and the heels of the feet. If you're leaning really far back, you'll notice because your toes might start to lift up. If you're leaning really far forward, your toes might be death gripping and you might feel a lot of tension in the arches of your feet. So see if you can find a little bit of equality. Weight in the toes, weight in the heels. Now, take another deep breath. Press your fingertips down to the floor and lift up halfway. And fingertips to floor could also be hands to blocks. Keep your knees rather soft. You could walk your hands up on your thighs, or you could bring your hands to your lower back. As you inhale, come all the way up. And then as you exhale, turn your right foot to face towards the front of the room. Stay exactly as you are. I'm only going to turn around so that you can see me and see what I am doing. Your right foot is still forward. Your left foot is facing towards the long edge of the mat. You're in Warrior Two position. Front knee is over the front ankle. Open your arms out to the sides. Reach out through your fingertips. Maybe your gaze comes forward over those front fingertips. And again, a little squeeze of your inner thighs. Firm up your glutes. Press down into the heels of your feet, and you'll feel that little bit of lift. Feel a little bit lighter in your upper body. As you inhale, lift your arms up overhead, straighten your right leg. As you exhale, bend the knee and bring the arms down to the sides. We're just going to flow like that a few times, inhaling to straighten and exhaling to bend. Take a little look down at your right knee and just make sure that it's going right over your right ankle and not beyond your right ankle, because eventually, if not today, that will cause you pain. A few more like this. One more. And here, you're going to come back to your Warrior Two. And then lift your arms up as you inhale. Keep your legs straight. As you exhale, bring your hands down parallel to the floor. Take your hips a little to the back of the room. Reach your right fingertips forward and bring your hand to your thigh, your calf, your ankle, a block. Triangle pose. Maybe a little softness in that front knee. For some of us, it'll be a lot more softness. For some of us, it'll be less. Reach your left arm up. You can be looking down towards your big toe. You can look to the middle of the room. You can look straight up. If it feels nice, you can shrug your shoulders back. You can start to rotate your left palm back to face towards the back of your mat, the back of your body. That feels good, you can stay. Or you can even take that hand all the way behind your back, resting the back of the hand onto the sacrum or into the opposite hip crease. Bit of an extra bit for the shoulders. Just a few deep breaths here. Remembering that the knee should be just a little bit soft. There should be the ability to move. It shouldn't be so rigid that you can't come out of this. As you inhale, you're going to start to bend your knee. You're going to come all the way back up into your warrior two. As you exhale, look to the back of the mat. Left hand to left thigh, right arm up over your head. Reverse your warrior. Just one deep breath here. If you like, you can look up. And then inhale back to the center line. As you exhale, you straighten your right leg. You turn your right toes to the long edge of the mat, and you fold forwards. Nice soft knees for your Prasarita Padottanasana. Inhale, press your fingertips to the floor. Find a halfway lift in your wide-legged forward fold, and then walk back to the front of the mat. Left foot is going to turn to face it. Right foot turns to face it. My foot is really far forward, so I'm just stepping my foot back so you'll be able to see me. You don't need to move unless you have a little bit too long of a stance. I have my fingertips on the floor. You can place your hands on your blocks here. As you're ready, you're going to rock your weight forward to your right foot. Lift your right knee behind you as you inhale. And you could stay right here, just focusing on softening that left hip. Lifting a little bit through the belly. Again, squeeze your inner thighs together a little bit. And this might feel like plenty. You might just like to hang out right here. But if you like, go a little bit more. As you inhale, you could kick through your left heel. And as you exhale, you could bend your right knee and bring your left knee to kiss the back of it. Little speed skater. Inhale, you could reach out. Exhale, you could draw in little speed skater. You can do a few more if those feel good. Or you can just hang out. When you're done, you can always bring the feet together and come to your forward fold. Maybe one more. You're gonna draw that knee in, and now you're gonna draw the left foot in, place at a comfortable distance from the right foot, and find your forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale to release. As you inhale, roll all the way up to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands in front of your heart. Take a deep, full breath. As you're ready, you'll inhale and draw the arms overhead. And as you exhale, you press the hands together and you fold forward. Inhale, find halfway lift. As you exhale, you plant your hands down to your mat and you step your left foot or your left knee back. Your right foot or your right knee back. Table or downward facing dog. Again, take a couple of breaths there. Feel free to move around. There's also a time where you can feel free to come to child's pose if you prefer. And just hang out. And from your table or your downward facing dog, you could add a half vinyasa if you would like. Or again, you can stay exactly as you are. If you like that half vinyasa, it's plank position. Knees up or knees down. Exhaling to the floor. If you're going for cobra, you'll untuck your toes, lift the center of your chest, but you could go for upward facing dog if you prefer. If you feel frisky, you could add a few push-ups here. When you're ready, release. Tuck your toes under, and we'll all meet in the next breath or two in our table or our downward facing dog. And once you're there, you'll float your left foot to the sky as you inhale. And as you exhale, step your left foot forward again, assisting it up to the front of the mat. Fingertips can frame the front foot or hands on blocks. Totally up to you. And we'll just start with that little bit of a lunge, squeezing the inner thighs together. A little bit of a draw back on the left hip, on the front hip. Maybe your fingertips like to stay to the floor, or your hands like to stay on blocks. Maybe you like to come up to your thigh a little bit more. You can feel the weight of your body really pressing that left heel into the mat. Shrug your shoulders back. Find that little avocado pit being scooped out of your belly button. Maybe you bring your arms back behind you, and we just take a couple of deep breaths here. Keep pressing down into the left heel. But as you press down into the left heel, imagine lifting up through the arch of your foot. So there's all this energy coming upwards, even as a lot of energy is going downwards into the floor as you ground into that left foot. You can keep pressing into the back heel, or excuse me, back toes to lift your back hip. Inhale here. And as you exhale, you come forward, hands to blocks, hands to floor. Doesn't matter. See what feels comfortable to you. If you need to grab some props, go ahead. Slide your left hip back, straightening your left leg for your pyramid pose. And we're coming into this with both feet facing the same direction, which is usually a little more gentle in the hips. So you can stay right there. Or if you like, you can always take your back foot and set the heel down if that feels more comfortable, more traditional pose. Again, the straightness of your leg will just depend on how your body feels today, how your muscles connect, how your bones connect. If you feel some openness at the back of your left leg, you have the ability to squeeze a little bit the inner thighs together and lift the belly. That's all we're looking for. Again, imagine drawing energy, drawing a little bit of lightness up through the arch of your front foot. Take one more breath here. And then begin to soften that left knee, that front knee. Walk your hands to the inside of the foot. You're walking again towards the long edge of the mat. The right foot rotates to face it. The left foot rotates to face it. And you just make sure that your heels are in a good line with one another. My toes like to go in, but your toes could go a little more out, or they could be one and the other. Find a space where you can find a forward fold. Maybe you like the block. If you happen to be able to come forward and it feels really comfortable to have your head dangle, you can always place the block underneath the head here, either underneath the forehead or for some people underneath the crown of the head. Feels really good. Another option here would be to take your hands and interlace them behind your back, working into the shoulders. You could grab a wrist, you could interlace the fingers and lift the arms towards the sky. Again, lifting energy through the arches of your feet so they're active. It's like someone's doing that little avocado pit scoop in the arches of your feet too. When you're ready, release your fingertips down. Keep your knees again a little bit soft as you press to your halfway lift. Feel free to use a prop here to get you up a little higher. And then walking the hands on the thighs or hands to the lower back. Make your way all the way to standing. Remember, you can always bring your feet together and then bring them wide again if you need to. Now you're going to turn your left foot forward. Your right foot faces the long edge of the mat. You bend your left knee. You're in your warrior two position. Your arms come out to the sides. You reach through your fingertips. You relax your shoulders. Squeeze the inner thighs a little bit. Find those avocado pits getting scooped out of the arches of your feet. And we'll move a little here. As you inhale, straighten the left leg. Maybe the arms come overhead. As you exhale, bend the left knee, arms come to the sides. We just do a few like this. Making sure that the front knee does not exceed the front ankle, just to protect the kneecap, cartilage. Work at your own pace. It's not important that you do exactly the same number as I'm doing. It's just important that you're moving with your breath. You're paying attention to what you're doing. You're continuing to keep a little bit of engagement in your core, a little lift in your belly. And you're keeping a little bit of engagement in the arches of your feet. Maybe one more here. Keep your front leg straight. Reach your arms up as you inhale. As you exhale, hands come to the side. Take your hips just a little bit to the back of the mat. You might feel a little extra inner thigh. Work on that front thigh, and then reach your left fingertips forward and fold. Hand to thigh, calf. You can use a block here, inside or outside the foot, for a little bit of extra support. Reach your right fingertips up, reach the crown of your head forward. Again, there might be a deeper bend in your knee. See what feels just right. If you like that work in your shoulder, you can rotate your top palm, your right palm, to face behind you. Maybe you even like to take the hand behind your back. Reach the crown of your head forward. And spend a few deep breaths here. Gaze point where it feels comfortable to you. As you're ready, you're going to unwind your arm from behind you, bend into your left knee, and on an inhale, come all the way back up to that warrior two. On an exhale, you look to the back of the room, your right hand comes to your right thigh, your left arm comes up over your head. Just one breath in your reversed warrior. Inhale, come back to the center line. As you exhale, straighten your front leg. Turn your toes to the long edge of the mat. And again, find that wide-legged forward fold. Hands to floor, hands to blocks. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, you're going to walk around to the front of the mat. Left foot turns to face it. Right foot turns to face it. I'm taking my blocks with me, or you can take any kind of prop. Again, I'm only stepping back so that you can hopefully still see me a little better as we come into this next one. So just adjust so your feet are a stable distance apart for you. Hands to floor, hands to blocks, maybe a little bit in front of you. You're going to walk your weight into that left foot, and you're going to lift your right leg behind you. Little supported warrior three. You can stay right here, maybe a little bend in that standing leg, dropping the right hip, tucking the right toes down, a little squeeze of the inner thighs, that little scoop of your avocado pit. Or you can add on a little bit. Inhale here, kick through your heel, and then as you exhale, bring the right knee towards the back of the left knee. Little kiss. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, little kiss. You can repeat that a few times if it feels good. You can always bring the feet together and dangle when you feel ready. Maybe one more. Hugging the knee in. And then placing the foot down, finding your forward fold as you exhale. Inhale, half lift. Exhale to soften again. And then as you inhale, you're going to roll yourself all the way up to the sky. Arms can come out and up, or you can do like I'm doing, arms forward. Exhale, hands to the heart. Relax your shoulders. Take a nice deep, full breath. From here, we're going to make our way down to the mat. A couple more stretches as you're ready. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. As you inhale, find that halfway lift. Knees can be quite soft still if that feels nice. Or they could be a little straighter. Exhale to fold, plant your hands down. Step or walk your feet back towards downward facing dog or back towards table. Inhale there. And then as you exhale, bring your knees to the floor. Come to a nice stable table pose. Spreading your fingers nice and wide, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips here. I'm going to move a little forward so hopefully you can still see my feet as I move. Shrug your shoulders back, lift the pit of your belly. Inhale, reach your right leg behind you. Keep lifting the pit of your belly. Keep scooping that avocado as you lift your right leg maybe a little higher behind you so you feel the glute, but you don't feel any discomfort in your lower back. Inhale here. Maybe you decide to stay. Maybe you decide to go a little further. You can curl your right heel towards your left buttock. That might feel like plenty. Keep lifting the belly. Maybe lift the front of the chest a little bit. Maybe the gaze comes a bit forward. If you want a little more, you can reach your left arm out in front of you and then reach your left hand back behind you. Maybe the foot and the hand can connect. If that's the case, you can press the top of the foot to the hand, lift the center of the chest. You're coming to a little bit of a cow pose, but don't let your belly just kind of hang out. Keep it a little bit elevated, a little bit lifted. Take another breath or two here. Shoulders shrug back. And then go ahead and release. Reach the leg behind. Place the foot on the floor. We're going to take a little break in between, so take your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Slide your hips back towards your heels and crawl your fingertips to your left as you let your hips drift to your right. If you like a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can place your right palm on top of your left palm and interlace your fingers. When you're ready, walk back to the center line. Lift the hips. Come back to your table pose. Shrug your shoulders back. Lift your left leg behind you. Lift the pit of your belly. Lift your leg a little higher so you feel the glute, you feel the buttock starting to firm up, but you're keeping all of that integrity in your core. And maybe that feels fine. You stay right here. You can practice between flexed foot. Maybe that makes you feel a little stronger, or pointed toe. Maybe you decide to go a little further and you take the left heel towards the right butt cheek. Maybe that's enough and you press into the heels of the hands and you lift the center of the chest. Maybe you go a little further, you reach the right arm forward and then you reach that right hand around, and maybe, just maybe you connect. You press the top of the foot into the hand, you lift the center of the chest. You find that beautiful stretch for both the quads and the shoulders. Holding for a few breaths if it feels good. Shoulders shrug back. And you may have noticed on this side I have my foot flat, and on the other side I have my toes tucked. It doesn't matter, it's just what feels good to your knees. Maybe another deep breath, keep the belly lifted, and then let go. Again, you'll make your way to your child's pose, knees a little bit wider. Hips go back, fingertips walk to the right this time. So you're stretching the left side. You could place the left palm on top of the right palm if you like. And take a few deep breaths. As you inhale, you lift up and you come back towards the center line, and just take a few moments in your child's pose. If you prefer to rest flat on your belly, that's also a lovely place to be. Get your forehead close to the floor. If you want to place a block underneath of it, you can. But maybe just some gentle downward pressure on the forehead. When you are ready, you lift yourself gently up. You begin to walk your fingertips back towards you. Shrug your shoulders back, swing your legs out to the side, and come to either a cross-legged seat or a knees tented in front of you or legs extended seat. You can sit up a little bit onto a prop if you would like. For comfort, we're just going to take a twist here. So take a moment to find your sits bones equally underneath you. So you have equal weight on the right side and the left side. From there, as you inhale, you're going to lift your arms up. And as you exhale, you're going to twist over to your right. You can drop your hands down, left hand to the thigh, maybe the right hand behind you somewhere. And it's not important how far you go in the twist. It's just important that it feels like a deep release for your shoulders and your spine and your hips. So allow yourself to kind of just melt into this twist. Relax your shoulders. And inhale. Use my hands low, but you could reach them up if that feels good. Just make your way back to the center line. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left. And again, you can place the hands on the legs of the floor. You can always place a hand on a block if the floor feels far away. And just let this be really delicious. Let it feel really good. center line. As you exhale, relax your shoulders. Here you're going to take your legs a little wider into an Upavista Konasana. So anything wider than the short edge of your mat is totally fine. That might be about your width, or you can go further than 90 degrees if you have that ability. Feel free to sit up onto a little blanket or roll your mat a few times behind you. And as usual, you can always draw your knees a little in. You can place any kind of prop underneath the knees for support if the hamstrings really feel this as well. And you might find that as you do this, just sitting like this is really quite intense. If that's the case, you can bring your hands behind you and just press your hands down and lift the center of your chest and stay right here for a few breaths. If you feel like you need a little bit more, you could start to bring yourself forward. Again, find that little avocado pit scoop in your belly so that you can find that you're reaching forward, you're not collapsing forward. There's some space here. If it's comfortable, you could bring forearms to the floor, forearms to a prop. Some people can even bring their foreheads to the floor here. And honestly, I don't care if your feet are flexed or if your toes are pointed. Do what feels good to you. This should not be the most intense stretch in your life, but it is a rather intense stretch. Just be mindful that you're working in that place that is beneficial for your body. And you're not pushing too hard, especially as we wind class down. Now from here, feel free to lift up a little bit to get some more space. You're going to walk your fingertips over towards your left side. You can place your left hand on the floor. You can place your left hand on your leg and just bring your right arm. And I said the wrong side as usual. You're walking to your one side and you're bringing the other arm up overhead because I don't remember what I said, but you're doing a little side bend. It doesn't really matter which way you go because you're just going to take a nice deep breath over here. Remember, you can always take this top arm and cross it if it's not quite comfortable to lift it up. And then you're going to walk your fingertips back through the center line, relatively low, over to the other side. And you lift up that top arm or you cross that arm over. It's just a deep breath or two here, nothing too long, just opening one last time the sides of the body. Roll down towards the floor. Walk your fingertips to the center line and then, sweet relief, walk your fingertips in. Roll your shoulders back. You can use your hands to gather your knees in here. Soles of the feet on the floor. Maybe a little lean back for some windshield wipers. From here, come to sit right in the very center of your mat. We're going to roll down to the floor, so make sure you have space behind you. As usual, you can do hands on the thighs, walking back, or arms and legs extended for a little bit of core work. Inhale here, and exhale, float like that lightest, featheriest version of yourself down towards the floor. It's like you've been only eating marshmallows. Take a deep breath once you reach the mat. And slide the soles of your feet in. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. And then you could cross your right knee over the top of your right ankle here. And this might feel like plenty. You can stay right here. Or you could draw the left knee in towards the chest. Finding a little pigeon pose. Any little movements that feel nice here. Releasing the sole of your left foot to the floor. Hug your knee into the chest and place the right foot on the floor. Same thing on the other side. Left ankle crosses over. You could stay, or you can draw the left knee in towards you. Moving a little bit, maybe. And then as you're ready, right foot releases if it lifted up. Place the soles of the feet on the floor. We'll take one final twist to finish off the practice. You could simply do feet wide and do a windshield wiper twist, legs over to the right. Or you're welcome, of course, to hug your knees into the chest and bring them over to the side. You can do a straight leg, bent leg twist, any variation of a twist that feels good to your body. Allowing your shoulders to sink towards the mat. One is lifted, it's okay. It's just going in that direction. When you're ready, you're going to bring your twist over to the other side, knees to the center line, and then over to your left, your variation of twist. Getting comfortable. Don't hesitate to wiggle around until you have that space that, again, just feels really lovely. When you're ready, bring your knees back to the center line. You could hug them into the chest and rock for a little Apanasana. Or you could turn the soles of the feet to the ceiling, knees to the armpits for a little happy baby. If there happens to be any other pose or shape that your body would like, feel more than free to add that in. And as you're ready, you can begin to make your way towards Shavasana. And as usual, you can Shavasana just flat on your back, arms and legs extended. Or you can Shavasana in any other position. I'm just sitting up so I can talk you through this for a few moments. Find a space that feels really good for your body. As you settle into your Shavasana, again, take that deep breath in. Big sigh out. Relaxing the space around your eyes. Softening your jaw. Relax the center of your chest and your shoulder blades. Soften your belly and your hips. Let your arms and your legs grow pleasantly weighty. Allow your whole body to soften, to melt, to relax into the mat. You are at home, so of course, please feel more than free to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you can. Feel free to stay for an extra 5 or 10 minutes if you have the time. I am going to go ahead and do a few little kind of wrap up details, so if you want you can pause me for a moment so you can continue to relax, or you can just tune me out for the next few minutes if you're continuing to Shavas. If you'd like to join me in getting up now, take a deep breath in, big sigh out. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, turn a little side to side. As you're ready, you can roll yourself all the way over to one side to rest for a few breaths. Before making your way to your most comfortable seat. As you arrive in your seated position, you can bring your hands in front of your heart. Press all 10 fingertips together. Press the heels of the hands together. Relax the shoulders. And we'll close as we usually do with our deep breath together, in through the nose if possible, out through the mouth, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practices and your time with me this morning. I am honored that so many of you responded and were so wonderful and positive and supportive about this idea. I am planning at least 2 more live classes this week, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Tuesday 4 to 5 p.m. and then again on Sunday, next Sunday, that's the 28th of March, I believe, at 10 a.m. I will post those details on Facebook later today and on the website. And once I get my schedule, I have some very interesting things happening with work right now. Hopefully a couple of more classes throughout the week as well for you guys. If not live classes, then classes that will show up on the website, and I'll put up details on those as well. If you enjoyed the class and you like practicing together and you have anything to give, I do have a donation button, or several buttons of different denominations, but all of them are adjustable to whatever you feel comfortable with, on my website, www.yogawithtristiann.com. Again, I'll post that on Facebook. Of course, it's on my website because it's my website, and you can head over there. I have some more videos over there on the website as well, and I'll just keep adding things as much as I can over the coming weeks, so you have lots of resources. Any requests, greatly appreciated. If there's something you want to work on, a style of class you'd like to see, reach out to me. Please let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I hope you're all staying safe and healthy right now. I hope to hear from you soon. Namaste.